Hi, my name is Ray Catola, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Get on my face, thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com!
Others go unpunished, and these are their stories. Bum bum. Welcome everybody to another edition of North American Harness Update. I am, unfortunately, Ray Catola, joined by Mike Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr. Yet again, it doesn't change. I don't know if one of these weeks you guys are expecting me to come on and go, it's North American Harness Update, we're here. I'm Gary Oldman, joined by Arsenio Hall and Craig Ferguson, who's relevant anymore.
Joe Blow from Kokomo.
Who's that? Does he have a rap album out or something?
Maybe.
Is he the bongo player for Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Google him.
Why would I... Rod, I have a show to do. I can't just be out willy-nilly dillying all over the internet. Then I'll lose focus of what I'm talking about. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
I look at London, though. London being the Western Fair District, not the great old city in England, because, unfortunately, we can't do the show from there. I don't know why. You guys want to go to London? Sure, go to England. Why do you want to go to England? What do you have against England? All right. I mean, you read one Sherlock Holmes novel, and then all of a sudden it's like, dang, London's pretty cool. Minus all the stabbings and crimes that go, undetected. But I'm looking at London and Ontario, which I mean is like England, except there's many historical reasons why it's not. And race 6. It's unofficial, which means race 7 is coming up, and race 7 is the start of their late pick 4. That's one thing we're going to be covering tonight on the show, and this, of course, we'll be covering live. Aside from live racing, we will also have insight into racing tomorrow night from Woodbine in the Meadowlands. We'll be talking about the early pick 4 at Woodbine for Saturday and the late pick 4 at the Meadowlands for Saturday. But I don't know about your neck of the woods, guys, but it has been blistering around here. Like, pustules left and right. I don't mean pustules. I mean the wind is blistering. But, like, you caught the subtle wordplay. I'm glad you did. And, at any point, because in where the studio is right now, the wind is howling. And, I mean, it's not even a full moon, which is even more worrisome. But at the same time, we could be knocked off the air at any moment. So if that is the case, first off, we're going to think the government is trying to suppress us and our right to free speech, just because it's more entertaining to think that way. And the other thing is that, I mean, we could just be knocked off at any time, and that just could happen. So with that being said, let's roll into this London pick 4. Race number 7 goes off in 10 minutes, scratched down to a field of 5. This is a non-winners of... What is it again? Non-winners of 12,000 in lifetime?
Yeah.
Non-winner... Okay. My memory serves me well enough to introduce this first leg. It, however, does not serve me well to send it off to the guy with the glasses who... He's a doctor... He's a father. I can't remember his name. Jay Sigboli. I'm close.
No.
But I remember what the voice sounds like. So you, first leg of this London pick 4. What do you see here? Because the 4 it was the heavy favorite, and he's scratched out. So how do you go about going around it?
I'm going to use the 2 inside horses. The 1 striking Nikki, who gets post relief, and should be better served from that inside spot. You're not going to get any sort of price in the race, but purely on the post switch. And then the 2, Celestial Lady. This horse has braking issues, but broke last time and still rallied to beat 3rd, only beaten 4 lengths. Does have a lifetime win. Not really a stellar bunch here. A lot of them have been struggling, so I'm going to try the inside 2. 1-2.
Now, Rodney, you are not trying the outside 2, but you're trying the inside 1 and the outside 1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-6 here. The 1, just because of the post switch, I'm not a big fan of this horse. I was originally on the 2 a little bit more, but I don't think this horse is with George Ketchell's driving, I'm not sure he's going to win. But I like the 1 with the post advantage here. Should get away close and be close throughout. And, isn't one to go off stride. And then the 6, the same type of thing. This one can leave with the 5 hole now. Definite player. Doesn't get home very well, but, this is the 4th start back off the layoff. And I do think this horse, if he leaves and gets soft fractions, or, even if he ducks and sits and waits and they go a little bit up front, because there is a little bit of speed here, this really could play out in this horse's favor. So I'm going to go 1-6.
I have a hard time getting home too, but that's after a wild night at college. Am I right, boys? Oh, damn, we're off to a flying start. All the kids out there, I hear them screaming. They're like, yeah, bro! Yeah, lift! Apps are cool. Why am I like this? I'm too deep. The 1 we all touched on, and the 1 makes sense, striking Nike. Just also by the fact that she draws the inside. And also, don't think I did not hear that, Rod. I hear everything. As the omniscient power that I am. The 1 just, it's purely a post thing, because in a race that has very little speed, chances are the horse on the rail is going to somehow be positioned towards the front. And in races also, where no one has any kind of late pace, the front's kind of the place to be. So striking Nike has an advantage to that sense. The other horse I throw on is the 5 Barbie Doll, who makes it her first start after a qualifier, and then had 2 breaks, which forced her to qualify last. Now, that qualifier is not necessarily terrible. If she can blast off the gate the same way she did in that race, I suspect that she might be a bit of a factor at maybe a decent price. I haven't looked at the board yet, and the board says, no, that's Twittered. I'm looking for the board. The board says I'd be kind of right. I do. What do I know, I guess? But, it's purely just if she's ready to go off the bench, she could be a factor, because that qualifier kind of shows some decent form. So I'm 1-5 in the opening leg. Second leg is the second leg that comes after the first. It's also race number 8. It's a 7,000 filly and mare claiming pace, $4,700 purse. Now, Mike, of all of us, you're the only one that did not single Moon Lake. Why?
Well, the horse does go to a new barn. Is sharp and, has 1-2 very easily, but, who knows what could happen here. This horse doesn't get the setup it usually gets. I'm trying to make the ticket pay a little bit, so I'm going to use 2 others. The 1, Badam Jenny, gets, Byron back again. I thought raced pretty well last time against Lady Richmond. Really, that horse won back again tonight. This horse really had no chance in there and came up to be second. Inside draw tonight, has to beat the favorite, but, I think a puncher's chance from the rail. And then the 7, Canart. This horse draws outside, but it's Patrick Shepard, who is as hot as anybody. This horse first up last time got tired. I would expect another blast from the rail, considering the 2 doesn't really ever leave the gate very well. Should get a spot early, and who knows, maybe can get the jump. So 1-2-7.
I'd say Patrick Shepard's average looking at best, like a 6. But Rod, for you, you do single Moon Lake, and why is that?
She's been claimed 4 out of the last 5 weeks, just going between 2 different barns. Stays in the Colter barn this week. 5-time winner out of 7 starts this year. No reason not to like with the move inside. Last week had the 7-hole. I thought last week was the week that she could possibly get beat at really short odds, and she just went right by everybody and made it look easy. So, this is really the same type of group. I'm not going to go against her at, she's probably going to be 1-5 or 1-9 here. So that's kind of the way I saw it.
In the Colter barn? You make him sound like a French missionary.
They're French. French-Canadian.
It's Colter. Colter.
How do you know?
Yes, Robespierre.
Do you personally know them?
Robespierre, bring up my administrator.
That's
France
probably the worst French accent I've ever heard.
Well, the whole point of it is that it's not authentic because, let's be honest, the French Revolution never happened. I also single Moon Lake, and it's mostly because the race has zero form, and Rod touched on the fact that Moon Lake, in most circumstances, has overcome the kind of obstacles that we felt like she'd have to, that would actually hinder her in her last few starts, and she did so very eloquently. Eloquently refers to verbiage, very elegantly. And so, with an inside draw now, it doesn't really matter if she's up closer than she usually is, if she likes to fly off the pace, because she's just in better form than most of these horses. And in a race where I can't really find any other price that's going to be worth the value to go against Moon Lake, it makes more sense for me to just key this horse and go deeper in some other legs that seem like they're going to pay. That's foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen. So I singled Moon Lake in the second leg, which brings us to the third leg. Third leg, race number 9. Coincidentally, 3 is the square root of 9, but that means nothing in terms of what we're talking about. And Mike, for you in this race, it's a $15,000 condition claiming trot. You're 3 deep, and who are those 3?
3 deep. The one, J-Port Rosita. Last 2 have been poor. Broke 2 back. Last time had the 7-hole. Prior to that was rallying into these kind of, horses. Has 5 lifetime wins. The rail. I'm going to use that one. The 3, Hoosier Muscle. This horse broke last time also. Lost to Striking Bolo 2 back, who is way better than these. But this horse is 1 for 29. Extremely difficult to trust. But again, something that, they're all kind of tough to get a hold of in here. And then the 5, Future King, beat at numbers at 12,000, last 5 in the slop, kind of snuck away there, had a 9-length lead at the top of the stretch, came home in 34-3. The horse is in form. Another one that, I could see sneaking away a little bit depending on who decides they're going to stay flat tonight. So 1-3-5.
Rod, I'm currently dumbfounded by 34-3. Rod, though, you're also 3 deep here. Talk about it.
Yeah, I'm going 3, 5, and 6 here in the third leg. The 3 makes sense. Has been good on the half. Occasionally does make a break, but I do think this horse is quick enough to win the race. Just needs to stay flat, and it's probably going to take a lot of money here. The 5, Future King, I like this one. 1 out of the 7-hole last time. Goes inside a little bit, keeps Rob Shepard on, and even with the slow quarter last time, that track was very tiring. So I kind of give a little bit of leeway there. But the 6 is the interesting horse. Doesn't win very much, if at all. But this is one that Peter Hamilton's sticking to driving, and he's been doing pretty well with this horse. That was a really good race last time. I think the horse is coming in really good form right now, and if things set up for him, I think he could upset this field. So 3, 5, 6.
Alright, so we all agree with the 3 Hoosier Muscle because the horse is so obvious on paper. We all see the same thing. There's nothing much more to add to that. However, the one horse I do throw on for a bit of a price looking also to make sure we got a little bit of time left before this last leg. The one, J. Port Rosita, is the other horse I use, and I'm looking purely at the fact that this mare has had outside draws and has been racing decently at this level. 2 starts back, broke from the rail, tossed that race, was also bet down to 3-1. That's an interesting thing to note. Goes off for 2 weeks, comes back from the 7-hole, and just kind of chases horses around the track over that sloppy going. I'm seeing a bounce here, potentially, with the improved draw, and also just the fact that she has some form racing at this level. All she has to do is, not all she has to do, but she has the potential to round back into form and do so at a decent price. So I'm 1-3 in the third leg. And final leg of this sequence is race number 10. Let's try and run through this one quickly. Let's run through this one quickly. So my horse is going postway here. And Mike, you take 5 of them.
Yeah, I'm going to use the inside 4 and then the 6. Who I like best are the 3 PL Kaleidoscope, who raced very well last time, I thought. Ended up being third, but it deserved a little better in there, 10-1 morning line. And then the 6, Large on Legacy. This horse came out of the same race, ended up second, was wide pretty much the whole way. I like those 2 best, but we'll use some others. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
Rod, you got some cojones, you got some cajones, you got gumption, you got gumbo. You single coffee's ready from the inside, and why?
I just think the horse is too good. Really good qualifier on the half. Comes from Yonkers, a few starts back. Did make a break, and they moved the horse up to Canada in the last start at Yonkers. But was a really good qualifier on a crappy day at Flamborough. Went over to Woodbine. Was just okay against much, much tougher. And with the rail, I think he's going to be firing this filly out of there. It's Jay Harris. He's been firing everything to the front lately. And, this just looks like a soft spot to me. So I'm going to take a chance and key this horse.
I don't really have much time because we have 1:20 to post. So I'm just going to list off I'm 5 deep here in this race as well. I go 1, 2, 4, 6, and 9. The 6 and 9, of course, are kind of price plays. The 2 and the 4 are a bit more obvious looking at the morning line. So here's my ticket for 20 cents with 1 minute to post. I'm 1-5 with 2, with 1-3, with 1, 2, 4, 6, 9. That's $4 for 20 cents. Mike, your ticket.
1-2 with 1-2-7 with 1-3-5 with 1-2-3-4-6. It's 18.
And Rod.
1-6 with 2 with 3-5-6 with 1 at $6 for a buck.
Or $1.20 for 20 cents.
Yeah, nobody's doing that.
All of these tickets, of course, are on our Twitter page at NA Harness Update and on Facebook, North American Harness Update. 30 seconds to go here for the opening leg. Looking at the board, Celestial Lady 6-5. I feel like that's a bit of an underlay, but this is also a very weak field, so I'm not sure where you guys stand on that.
I'm just hoping to get through this race, to be honest. I have no clue.
Well, 10 seconds now to go. I just feel like Celestial...
Short ticket like that, would you try to play like a $5 or a $10 one?
I'm a guy that I'll play for a couple bucks, but I'm never too keen on when it looks real chalky like this to go out on a limb and play it for a bunch of money, just because even if I hit it, there's not a lot of reward coming back. So.
I don't know, even if it pays $50 for $1, if you have it 10 times, I mean, that's not horrible.
How much does that cost? What are you investing into that?
Well, he would have to play $60 if he played it for 10.
Okay. So 60 to get 500, what's the...
Roughly. I mean, things break certain ways, but...
I'm always horrible with odds when it comes to that quick math. It sounds like 60 for 500, that's like what? Is that below 2-1? I don't know.
No.
What?
It's only 10.
No, that wouldn't be 10-1. You're getting 10 times.
Yeah.
But
man. Call the race.
Don't tell me what to do, Dad.
He's already trying to run behind the gate, so...
3-2 on Celestial Lady. 3-2 on Showboat Sealster. And then there's some others in line approaching the start off. And trotting Celestial Lady ran behind the gate. Showboat Sealster grabs the lead. Blink She's Gone away second into the turn. Striking Nike to the inside of Barbie Doll, who's holding third as they move on to the opening quarter. Showboat Sealster off stride, inheriting the top. Blink She's Gone. Barbie Doll moves up to take second. Striking Nike lets her in from third, catching the field fourth. Celestial Lady about 4.5 lengths off the lead. Off stride again goes the favorite Celestial Lady. Also catching the field, Showboat Sealster up to fourth, and now she's about 4.5 lengths off the leader. Blink She's Gone circling the far turn first time, approaching that opening quarter in front of Barbie Doll by 2 lengths. Striking Nike stalks them from third, fourth, then Showboat Sealster, and back on stride in the back of the pack, Celestial Lady turning into the stands first time. It's Blink She's Gone in control over Barbie Doll, sitting stagnant in second. Third, then, now locked to the inside, Striking Nike as Showboat Sealster moves overland. Flushed out, then, Barbie Doll, and off stride once more, and back on gate, Celestial Lady past the half. And circling the clubhouse turn, Barbie Doll now goes off stride, so it's Blink She's Gone leading into the backstretch. Striking Nike chases in second, 3 lengths away to the inside of Showboat Sealster, chasing in third. It's a gap then of about 5 lengths to Celestial Lady and Barbie Doll towards the back of the pack to 3/4, left alone on the lead. Blink She's Gone, rolling closer. Showboat Sealster into the inside, Striking Nike around the final turn. Blink She's Gone, the one to catch. The lead is 2.5. Showboat Sealster off stride. So Striking Nike's in second and the closest threat turning for home in front. Blink She's Gone, still by 2, trying to hold that lead into the 8th ball. Striking Nike edges off the rail, but is chasing in second. Third, then comes Celestial Lady as the line approaches. Blink She's Gone, coast to coast. Striking Nike second, Celestial Lady third. When in doubt, the longest shot on the board wins when everyone else can't.
You want us to really stay flat. I don't know what he was doing with the wand, but whatever.
The one didn't have
to go for 43 for a reason, obviously.
I mean, the horse just didn't have enough of a late kick. Blink She's Gone did have the speed, though. And just held it.
This one came home in 36 and 4 last time.
Yeah.
But I have no words with that.
The two longest shots go 1-2.
Yeah, I have no words for what we just saw there and why we spent our time on that.
Celestial Lady being the favorite in that situation, though, to me was entirely absurd. With how much she's been...
The whole race is absurd. 2 horses finished the race. Joke.
And on that note...
Now we can watch this inquiry for a half an hour, because the 6 broke 4 times in the race.
Yeah, that was an entertaining race to watch for the amount of breaks.
Unbelievable.
3, 1, 2, 5.
Well, we had a ticket submission. It lost as well, so not a good. That's not a good race for anybody.
No, really not.
Yeah, give that person the dignity of not being named. It's a good idea. Blink She's Gone 10-1, 8-1.
Your money's gone too if you're betting that crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Equistro feature too. For those of you who don't know what the Equistro is, when a horse turns 14 years old, that's the last year they can race. So after that, they have to find jobs for these horses. And because coal jobs are not necessarily coming back to Canada, a lot of these horses go on to be critically acclaimed chefs. That's right, at the Equistro. It's a mix of equine and bistro, and they make all the foods. They make oh crap! This is where my quick wit is tested and my late night writing skills. What that sounded like the telegraph that came in when the Titanic hit the iceberg. So what do they cook at the Equistro? They cook
Taco Bell.
Why not?
Oh yes, let us go, Denise, to a 5-star
Bacon
dining
horse meat.
establishment. Let us go. That's Burger King. Let us go to a five-star dining establishment. What recommendations do you have? Taco Bell. Well, then all right. Let's get the Taco Bell. S'il vous plaît.
Taco Bell's like second leading
like Mr.
restaurant
Burns.
now, I think. It passed up Burger King.
Well,
McDonald's and Taco Bell. 1, 2.
how is Burger King on that list? Every time I walk into a Burger King, I feel like I have to give a eulogy at the freaking register. You know what I mean? Like it is such a dead place. Burger King. I've
How
been
much
to a
Burger King are you eating?
That's because you're lethargic when you leave there.
Yeah. Oh, it totally wipes out your entire insulin store.
no, they're at the conference. All right, guys. We need a slogan for Burger King. Have it your way. Okay, that's good. Any other ideas? You're lethargic when you leave there. Oh, it just rolls off the tongue. All right, so can we get a jingle? Can we get a jingle? Burger King, ba da da da. You're lethargic when you leave there. Da 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 da. Now you see that's a little bit for lethargy. That sounds a little too peppy. Okay. You know, that sounds a lot better. That sounds very more fitting to the
That sounds like
brand.
graduation.
That was not pomp and circumstance, unless you're talking about graduating from life to death. Then yes, it is kind of graduation.
I have no idea what you're doing right now.
My point is that I've been... Okay, so there's a basketball game at Rod's house.
We are moving. We're moving tracks.
The point I'm trying to make is moving tracks. I wouldn't trust Amtrak in these winter conditions. But the point I'm making is that this inquiry is still going. Multiple judges' inquiries. They have more
Naturally.
than
There's 37 frames to look at. They might be done by midnight.
They have more than one judge on staff. The multiple judges' inquiries right now. But the point I'm making is Judge Reinhold one of them. The point I'm making. What happened to him?
Maybe the 3 went inside 35 pylons too. You never know.
I mean, I could only hope that my pick 4 is alive. All
Yeah.
my pick 4s be alive then. But my point here is that the only times I've ever been inside of a Burger King is when I need Wi-Fi. And those times were, oh God, when was I in 9th grade? That would have been 4 years
5
ago?
minutes ago.
So, 2014 and last year when I needed to edit news for Standard Bread Canada and I wasn't home. Those were the 2 times I've ever been inside of a Burger King. And both times, I was the only person in there. And so, of course, then, like, all the staff are going, what's the outside world like? Is there oxygen? What about water? What's the water look like? And then I'm, like, kind of frightened. I go, blue? And they go, oh, it's blue. Oh, no. I miss blue. Which is kind of strange considering that, you know, blue is the color of Burger King. But let's be honest, the color inside of Burger King is gray. So the lesson here is that we are never going to be sponsored by Burger King. Or the flip side to that is, Burger King, I will take back everything I said if you pay us a lot of money. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am on the air confessing to my desire to sell out. That's right, Rod. Give me a sound effect. I'm ready to sell out, baby. I want the money. Rod, where's this sound effect? You got it.
I just did one.
I didn't hear it. So then I don't feel affirmed that the bit is working. Like you got help me to help you, Rod. Help me to help you. Help me to help you. Help me to help you. That's Scrubs, for those of you who don't know, which was a great show on NBC back in the day. Back in the day being, what, 2007? Wow. That was 11 years ago. Wow. No violations declared in
I
this.
feel violated after watching that race.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. I thought because I insulted Burger King so heavily. But let's be honest, they used horse meat, so of course they're gonna get it from us. They're gonna get it from us.
You get $45 for that exacta 10-1 over 8-1. 45 American dollars.
And on that note, this will be the last episode of North American Harness Update. We are leaving the sports. We are going to cover tennis from now on.
No.
That's right. This is the show where I admit my unrequited love for the tenisial arts. Is that the proper verbiage? Is that the proper conjugation?
No.
I don't know why I'm asking you guys. I don't think you've ever written a book. I should go ask my father, who said every week before I go on the air, my dad says, I'm going to come on the show, and I'm going to say things. And I say to him, do it. And it's been...
So what's he going to say?
It's been 3 years now.
He's been on a couple times. I think he brought
I think he brought me coffee once because, he's a very compassionate father when he's not verbally abusing me. But I mean, it's an endearing thing. When you got relatives from Brooklyn, you gotta learn that insults come from a place of love.
Right.
Yeah. And you two clearly having relatives from Brooklyn understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
But I will say, I have no idea where this conversation went because you got so far off track that I completely lost what we were even doing. Besides waiting for the inquiries to be over.
Burger King to Frank Catolo.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got lost after the 5 minutes disassembling of Burger King, where I kept using the word Burger King.
Right.
Yeah, but I started with a way better place.
What, Taco Bell?
Oh my god.
It's good. That's good right there.
That was a moment, ladies and gentlemen, where if you were not watching the video, you could not fully sense the amount of shame that I was feeling.
That's the Taco Bell bell.
Mike was talking about how he felt violated. I feel defeated. Which, I mean, I kind of am. I picked up his dead. I'm not...
Wow.
I'm a little trombone. I'm not a trombone.
I feel like the sound effects have added more funny than we've had in months.
Yeah, because it shuts Ray up for a second.
I mean, all you're doing is giving me great fodder for when I go to therapy this week. So I mean, I just say keep it going. Yeah, I gotta have a reason to be paying my therapist, because otherwise I'm going there to have a friend. Why would I pay to have friends? That's a
because you have to.
No.
Let's talk about London Race Safe.
Moon Lake is even money right now.
That's a big price for her.
All that I'm thinking about is the line from the Killer's song Dustland Fairy Tale, but instead of Moon Lake, it's Moon River. What'd you do to me? I don't believe you. Saw Cinderella in a party dress, but she was looking for a nightgown. At this point, I could go through the rest of the lyrics of that song. It's a nice little ballad off of their 2008 album Day and Age, which North American Indie Music Update will be coming whenever I admit that I'm a tool. And looking at this race at London, to get back to North American Harness Update, 6-5 on Moon Lake, 3-1 on Bedham Jenny, 7-2 on Maid of Silver, and 9-2 on Dex the Land. Dex the Land is the second choice on the morning line here, and I feel like the class drop does not matter, because this horse is dropping from the 15,000 condition claimers to the 7,000. And, I mean...
Well, this horse was at Woodbine.
Okay.
That's what they're betting, or that's what the morning line is.
So?
Well, I'm just telling you that's why. And last time the horse was at London, he won by 3 at this level, and actually at 15.
Yeah, but the start before that was 6th by 4.
Okay, how far do you want to go back?
Well, I mean, why not go back to the day this mare was born, back in...
Well, the horse was claimed out of that race for 7, stepped up to 15, and won by 3 lengths. And then went to Woodbine.
When this horse was born in 2013, she was missing a kidney. How could I bet a horse that's missing a kidney?
How do you know this?
I'm not sure if that makes you run any faster.
Well, I mean, there's also a reason why this horse is not on
You
LASIK.
can live with 1 kidney. You know that, right?
I mean, let's be honest. As a single guy, I prefer to live with no kidneys. Am I right? Am I right? Ha! No?
No.
No?
Oh, look, Terry Tastic likes the 7. I'm in then.
It's Terry-astic.
Whatever.
I don't care. Like, you look back in history and you see names like Descartes, Plato, Sacapuntus, and then someday, 50 years in the future, we'll be looking back at the history of handicapping to the apostle Terry
Hey.
That should be your new name, Rod, on here. Add Sacapuntus.
Well, actually, there's a funny... Well, it's not... I shouldn't say it's funny, because then I'm forcing you to feel what I want you to feel. So instead, I should try and trick you. That was a very Bill Hicks phrasing of that. No, I have a Twitter account that is at the Sacapuntus, where I tweet pointless philosophy.
Is that right?
Yes, because there was one show I did, one episode of NAHU I did where I list out all the great Greek philosophers, Aristotle, Plato, and of course Plato's teacher Sacapuntus. And to this day, I still love that. I find it for some reason.
I love Puntus too. I have to say.
Well,
For some reason,
I got to give a shout out right now to Terry Astic since he's watching us on Facebook.
Oh, nice. See? Hey, listen,
tonight,
he picks a lot of long shot winners. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's why he likes the 7, I'm there. I got no problem with that.
If Rod's giving shout-outs, I like to give a shout-out. So tonight on the show, I want to give a shout-out to Water. Yeah, Water! It's the life source of... How is Water gay? If Water's gay, then by God, so am I.
Not really a reach.
I mean, you're 70% gay in that case. And let's be honest, everyone's a little gay.
Oh, no. No, we're not going there.
No.
And you and
We're not. We're not.
This is all from this.
Ray's been there the whole way. We're not going there.
Well, you guys.
London. Rod, you interested?
London?
Wait, I'm trying to say these are excerpts from my project Life the Musical. It's going to be coming to Broadway in 30 years. And then everyone in the sport's going to go, wow, that's the kid from racing. And then they're going to go, wow, who?
Does it concern you that 2 is dead on the board a little?
She is a little bit, but I'm not real concerned about it. I mean, these guys have had this mare, and they do just fine with her. I mean, there's no reason not to like her.
What do you do with the 8 in the race?
The 8's a little bit tricky because of where she's starting, but she has won against better.
3 stinkers in a row, though. I mean, really bad.
Yeah, she's off form right now, especially that last race. The last race was really bad in my opinion. But for me, I think I would go, if I were going to play this race, it'd be a 1-2 box, I think.
I don't know about the 7. I liked the 7's race last time.
There's nothing wrong with the 7. He has to leave. That's the thing. He has to leave.
Well, he's going to. Who's gonna make him not leave? The 5 and the 6 are stone cold sitters. The 4 maybe could go. The 2's a sitter. The 1 is not very fast away from there. There's no way the 7 doesn't get the front in the race, unless he just decides he's not going to go. But I mean, if he tries to go, he's getting the front. I don't see any reason why he can't.
Well, you can see her on the screen right now. The 8's getting claimed.
Don't worry, guys. I'm back by popular demand, and I got racing opinions now.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So you're talking about this race. I don't even see the board. I have the past the board, so not the board. Wow, that's a board, all right. The 8 is claimed, but Rod, you were saying something about that.
Yeah, the 8's getting claimed. That's what I said.
Oh, that's it. I thought you had a bit more of a profound statement to go alongside that, but go figure.
And
exactas are paying big.
Nick Stewart's driving the 8.
Okay, so?
He's not listed in the program as driving. It's a driver change.
Driver change to Nick Stewart. Of course, it's still 7-2. Moon Lake is even money. I don't like anyone else in this race, so I'm surprised you guys are even looking to bet this, if that makes sense.
Well, sometimes you have to take a shot and try to make some money.
Well, you can create value. It's just a matter of, how you see the race playing out. If you think that the 7 is value in the race, you can try to create value with that horse. If you think the 2 is a stone cold lock, then you could try to create value maybe in the try or the super.
Well, but the other thing too, and this also is the argument of, what's the word? Not credence. Credence is not the word. Of I can't think of it. But basically, like, for instance, I don't see anything happening with the 2 here, and nothing else on the board appeals to me. So this race is a pass for me.
The 2 is way under bet in this race. The 2 should be 1-5, and it's 8-5. I think that's a problem.
I don't care. I don't see it.
I'm telling you what I'm seeing.
And then I'm also giving the counter to that, because sometimes, and I'm guilty of this too in terms of handicapping. It's like you look so deeply into a race, you'll start creating value where it doesn't necessarily exist, if that makes sense.
That can happen. That's absolutely true.
And that will sometimes lead you to betting in bad faith. So, like, in a race like this, I could look deeply and somehow convince myself that Made of Silver has a shot of hitting the board, but in the end, my gut instinct is pass the race. You don't have much of an opinion. Move on.
That's okay. Well, yeah. you have an opinion. You think the 2 is a strong favorite, and it's currently 9-5. That's the opinion.
Well, then I guess what I'm saying is I have no strong.
You think everything has to pay $50 for it to mean something?
No,
well,
not necessarily.
What I'm kind of seeing here is the 2 is very board dead. I think she should be 3-5, and she's 9-5 right now going to the gate. There's there's one play I would possibly make here if I like the race a little bit. I would play a superfecta and just box based on the fact that the 2 is board dead. I would.
You have to leave somebody out. Like, you're going to either leave the 1 out or the 8 out. You're not going to box like 1, 2, 7, 8.
I don't think it's board dead, though, because what you're seeing here is relative betting. And a lot of the betting on the 8 is purely because the 8 has more class than the 2. And so if the 8's getting play, the 2's going to be a higher price. So that's not necessarily board dead either. It's money shifting.
The 8's going to be the favorite. 8's going to go off favorite.
I'm not, like, I thought the 8 would take money. I didn't think the 1 would take this much money.
Mm-hmm. Which, that's also a post thing, too, is it not? Yeah, the source does.
Yeah.
I think has to be.
Well, all that said, this race is going to the gates. 7-5 on Moon Lake. 9-5. Now 2-1 on Dex the Land. 7-2 on Bedham Jenny. Field for the 8th in motion and approaching the start. Often pacing Canart from the outside. Fires inside. Moon Lake moving around that turn. Moon Lake grabs the lead. Bedham Jenny from the inside gets away second. Canart parked out third. Decks the Land gets away fourth in front of What a Sassy Girl fifth. Kelly Ray sixth, followed by Made of Silver and a Pint of Delicious. As out and moving to take the front, Kelly Ray from Moon Lake. Third, then Bedham Jenny to the opening quarter. The favorite pops out of the pocket to reclaim control. And here's Moon Lake, the odds-on favorite, moving to that far turn first time, overtaking Kelly Ray to lead by a length and a half. Bedham Jenny is back in third, Decks the Land fourth, followed by What a Sassy Girl 2 lengths behind fifth. Sixth, still coming into the stretch first time, is Made of Silver, followed by towards the rear, A Pint of Delicious, half-mile bound out of fourth, Decks the Land, moving to challenge Moon Lake for the top. Trying to track that move, What a Sassy Girl, Canart move back there too as they move past the half and into the clubhouse turn to the back stretch. Decks the Land takes the advantage from Moon Lake to the inside. Kelly Ray 2 lengths behind them in third, stride for stride with What a Sassy Girl. Tracking her is Canart up towards fifth. Shuffled to sixth, Bedham Jenny, followed by Made of Silver and a Pint of Delicious. Decks the Land cannot clear. Moon Lake encouraged to the inside, parking her out to three quarters. What a Sassy Girl is reeling them in three wide. Then it's Canart behind them as they move around that final turn. Decks the Land holds the lead in between horses. Moon Lake to the inside, battles on. What a Sassy Girl 3 wide, and here comes Canart 4 wide, spread across the track, chasing a leader. Decks the Land into the 16th pull. He leads over Moon Lake with What a Sassy Girl, and Canart. Decks the Land holds on. Decks the Land from What a Sassy Girl. Canart to the outside third, and Moon Lake finished fourth. 3-1 on Decks the Land. Did not like that horse, but doesn't matter. Horse still won.
Want to give a shout out to Bob McClure, who's watching right now, because he's not driving at London.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Bob McClure, thank you for tuning in.
And we also have to give a shout out to the goddess of stake racing, who's watching right now. Anybody?
The goddess of stake race.
Talifrod.
Moira
Athena?
Fanning. She's watching right
Moira!
now.
I was thinking Athena. Both end in the same letter.
You were thinking Greek goddess. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you say the word goddess, you're kind of implying. Look, in the second hour of the show, I will grab my book of Greek tragedies and we will live on the air read Sophocles.
No.
No,
Okay.
we're not doing that.
I will leave that as a threat. 8-3-7-2. What a crappy threat. I will educate you. No.
That was a much better race at London.
It was. There was a lot of movement. I forgot where Canart was by the half.
Canart took in second there.
3-1, 11-1, 7-1, 4-5 in that race.
Now, just for the sake of argument,
Okay.
Rod and I looked at that race and said, okay, the two's a little bit dead on the board, wasn't being played right, and look what happened. Came up short.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. Even though the horse took a little bit late, wasn't being bet the way that I thought and he thought was right.
I get that, and at the same time, you also have the counter argument of correlation does not necessarily infer causation, if that makes sense. Where it's like, the 8, like you could make the right decision, but the right decision is not necessarily based on the right truth, if that makes sense. Either way, if you bet the 8, you won. You're thinking too deeply into it. But like for instance, looking at Moon Lake. She rarely races on the lead. The one race she had on the lead was as the odds-on favorite on January 31st. Other than that, she's been mostly reeling horses in. So maybe you could look at that race and go, okay, that's not our preferred racing style. And the odds wouldn't necessarily show that, if that makes sense. I get what you're saying, though. I'm just raising the counterpoint. Because you said for this big
horse that, you deem 1 to 5 in a race, and when they're heading to the gate, they're 8 to 5. There's something wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm also saying too, for every race that you feel that's the case, that horse will actually win. Also,
not always.
Well, yeah, not always, but again, not always is what I'm saying.
You have to read the board. Can you read the board? What's the board telling you?
I mean, I can't read in the first place, so I should probably work on that. I've made it
Right,
this.
you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
Ray just likes to refute everything I say just to,
We agreed on that race before it went off.
To be fair, Mike, you started by saying for the sake of argument.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you say that, I'm going to come up with the counterpoints.
Yeah,
thank you. Because there's no such thing as one truth. That's what Buddhism has taught me. Also, I'm Buddhist now.
Since when?
I don't know, since I printed out the certificate Tuesday. You can take this online course, and then you get registered with the National Buddhist Registry. And then,
wow.
Yeah, and then you get like this cute little certificate. Your name's
Stop giving everyone false information. This is completely false.
What do you mean it's false? Why would I lie? Mike, I am an entertainer and public figure. Why? What kind of gain could I get from lying?
I don't know. But this is false truth.
There's no false truth. Those are lies.
Some kind of Buddhist thing. This is all crap.
There you go.
I had some people believing me.
There you go.
There I go? With what?
You want it?
Do I want it?
It's a symbol.
What? What symbol?
Oh my.
But should I be looking at the video?
Apparently we need to be watching. What is that, Rod?
It's a Buddha.
Oh my god.
Wait, is it a Buddha or is it a statue of Chris Farley?
Oh man.
We're coming off the rails here.
Oh man, we got to get back on track.
I think we need a break. It feels like we need a break because we have a lot to do in the second hour.
Mike,
we do have a lot to do.
In the first leg of that pick 4, why do you need more?
Buddha bottle.
I'm 0 for 2 in this pick 4. I obviously have no clue what's going on with this place.
Buddha bottle.
I have no clue what's going on with my life. So this show is not the only thing that's derailed. I can't take things seriously anymore. I just can't. We're coming up. I said I can't take things seriously anymore. Not I wish I was a Jack in the Box.
Well, we've been known to be clowns, depending on the situation. So it's a good thing we have that noise.
Yeah.
Also a good thing we
I've heard that. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that.
Hey kids, it's Capper, the gambling clown.
How much did that go over well?
Now, I lost all of my money betting the 6th race at Aqueduct, so I'm stuck entertaining you kids now.
Wow. We've unleashed a monster.
It's not it. I don't know why you played
This is the reason we started with the sound effects. So when Ray goes way off like he just did, he stops immediately so he can listen to what I'm doing.
Look, a Pennywise for your thoughts, okay? As host, I have to be observant of everything. That is why, right now, I heard a tree fall down outside my house, and chances are people are probably hurt, and I should go investigate and make sure I can help them. No?
You should.
I have to put on the show. I have to give the people exactly what they want. So unfortunately, I did not hear the tree fall down in the woods, so in the sense it didn't make a sound. So long as I act like it didn't. We're coming up to the second hour of this show, and in the second hour, we're going to be talking more racing. We got racing from Woodbine. We got racing from the Meadowlands. And we got the rest from London, but nothing else. If any of you want anything else, I swear to God, we can't offer it, and I'm sorry. But then after the show, we'll be handicapping in our NAHU Extra the Pick 5 carryover for the Meadowlands that was supposed to go off tonight. But circumstances otherwise said that it's going to go off tomorrow. I don't know why I'm acting angry about that.
I'm angry. I did like 3 hours worth of work for it.
If only it went off tonight, and we have to do it. Sometimes it's fun to be angry. It's very meditative to just act angry for no reason. And you know what people say to that? They say, I don't know what they say. I don't listen to what people say, because everyone is unique and individual in their own. I think I flipped those. Everyone is individual and unique in their own way, and you're all beautiful. That said, I hate most of you. Coming up in the second hour, we already said coming up in the second hour, I love everybody. Come on. Rod. I'd hug Rod. He wouldn't hug me. Mike would definitely not hug me, but I'd hug both of you.
That's the
Gay! And as I drink from my gay water...
Oh, no.
We'll have to go to break. This trotter has lost stride, I can tell you that much. And who knows if he'll ever regain it.
We're doing 2 hours of video tonight.
If you're at London, you can break 3 or 4 times and still get third.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that I was trying to do like this figurative thing. I was trying to do like a metaphorical phrasing of it, because like I said, my life's derailing, but this time it's like the trotter can't regain stride. I work in Hollywood, okay? I can't help it. I'm sorry. If I act like it for long enough, I will not only lose all of my friends, but it will also come true. More North American Harness update coming up where the wind don't shine. Where the wind don't shine? You can't say where the moon don't shine, because... Wait, where the moon don't shine? That gets you drunk. Huh. There's so many interesting things about this life. We're going to break. And when we come back with more North American Harness updates, I will have found the way, or as Confucius called it, Ren. And Mike and Rod are going to have no idea what that means. But that doesn't matter, because we're going to handicap the pick 4s from Woodbine and the Meadowlands, which quite frankly do not require enlightenment as much as just intuition of how numbers work. So, more North American Harness update coming up just around the corner. Don't hop in that Uber or that Lyft, because chances are they're going to take you somewhere you wish you weren't. So instead, walk on over, take a stroll, breathe in the air, pollution, and enjoy the walkover. We'll be back with more North American Harness updates in a moment. Very superstitious.
Hi, my name is Ray Catull, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing, and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com! Oh.
A consortium of companies selected by the province to extend the expressway to Major Mackenzie Drive in Vaughan says shovels will be on the ground later this year. Caledon Mayor Alan Thompson says the extension is 10 years too late, claiming people are drowning in traffic on Highway 50. The weather, sun and cloud, Pearson 5, North 5 here in Batam, Indonesia. It's 31. I'll have more updates on SRN1. Don't envy me. I'm Philipong in Batam, Indonesia.
Thank you, Phil, and welcome back to more Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I am your host, a hack of a comedian, joined by Mike Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr., going into yet another hour of harness racing excitement. Did I give that good inflection, or should I do that again?
Do it again.
Okay. Okay. Back again.
Well, it looks like you're in the dark.
To you, another
Nope.
hour of harness racing excitement. Was that? Okay, I can tell it was not. Where the 9th race in London is coming up in 0 minutes. 0 minutes, of course, meaning greater than 0. And even money right now, the 5 Future King, which looking at our tickets, Mike and Rod were onto this horse. I was not. I didn't get the memo. I didn't get the memo, period. I haven't had a single horse so far in the sequence. And the sequence seems like it's going to pay somewhat decently so far.
Oh yeah, it's gonna pay. It's gonna pay good.
Yeah, especially with the 2 losing the last race.
I mean, I thought it would pay well, but it could pay good too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a personal.
It's gonna pay whatever.
The whole grammar thing, thanks.
It's gonna pay whatever we think it's gonna pay.
I love grammar. And I love Granter. I got great grammar. I got a great grammar, and she loved my grandpa. Because like grammar sounds like grandma. I should have been a plumber.
You still could be.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing. Oh, jeez. Where's my therapist? We're coming up with a minute to post for this race at London. Any thoughts looking at this board? It's scratched down to a field of 5. Would you even consider betting this race?
I wish the 1 was a bigger price.
What about you, Rod?
I really don't have a big opinion on the race, honestly. It seems like a wide open race, and I think the betting kind of signifies that.
Well, they're only really betting 3 horses.
4 if you count the 4th horse they're betting.
Well, he's sort of the outlier, though. I mean,
well, I mean, the 1, the 3, and the 6 are all 3 to 1, and then the 5 is 6 to 5. Last I checked, that's 4 horses.
okay.
Ray can
20
count.
seconds to post. The clock is ticking. How that phrase applies to us all. The gate is moving to position. The gate with the word bar just written in all caps.
Daniel Kahn. He's got $20 exact to 5-1.
Nice.
All right, let's hope that comes. That's the only thing going so far. So let's root for Daniel.
Yeah. I didn't bet the race, so.
I didn't either.
I'm betting on Daniel.
There you go. 5-1. What's 5-1 paying? It should tell us here in a second.
$13.
Okay.
That's
So
130.
that's 130. So you can catch us.
lining up. They're in position. Future King, even money, 5-2, now 2-1. Don't you cough during my call, peasant. 7-2 on J-Port Rosita and Ty's Little Dream. This is the 9th race from the Raceway Western Fair District in motion, approaching the start off. And trotting, Future King blasts away for the front. J-Port Rosita to the inside, gets away second. Ty's Little Dream floats away around the turn. J-Port Rosita off on a break, leaving on the lead. Now off stride, Future King. Turn of events here is the high road's gonna inherit the lead. Ty's Little Dream takes second. Future King back on stride, but now moving to fourth as Hoosier Muscle surpasses him in third. A gap then to J-Port Rosita, who broke around the first turn and is gapping this field, moving past that opening quarter. Future King rushing back into contention to take the lead from the high road around that turn to the top of the stretch first time. Hoosier Muscle, the second choice, sitting in fourth, right behind Ty's Little Dream, turning into the stretch, and there's a gap of 5.5 to J-Port Rosita trailing this field. Future King now clears the lead from the high road. Ty's Little Dream sits 3.5 lengths off the lead in third. Hoosier Muscle begins to edge off the rail fourth with about 5 lengths to make up around the turn to the backstretch on the final circuit, chasing Future King. In front by 2 from the high road. Third still Ty's Little Dream. Hoosier Muscle yet to move from fourth, is chasing right now. Jones is for cover. Ty's Little Dream going to flush out and pursue Future King to 3/4. Now drawing up within a length of the lead, dragging Hoosier Muscle second over. Locked in then at the inside, the high road. They're still having to catch, though. Future King around the final turn. Future King leads a triage spread across behind him. The high road to the inside, in between Ty's Little Dream, far outside Hoosier Muscle, chasing in the stretch. Future King holding the lead. Hoosier Muscle rallies down the center and takes control. Hoosier Muscle coasts away with the win. Ty's Little Dream up for second from Future King, then the high road, and at any moment, there she is, J-Port Rosita checks in last.
The 5 was inside about 4 pylons there, too.
You gotta love those races where the horse on the lead breaks 5 lengths clear of everyone, then retakes control and still loses.
Well, I mean, after that, that was a huge race from that horse. Considering.
I mean, raced 4 to 5. 4 to 5,
probably
well.
10 lengths the best.
So long if he didn't lose those 10 lengths. 9 to 5.
That's the thing.
9 to 5 on Hoosier Muscle. 5 to 1 on Ty's Little Dream. 4 to 5 on Future King. 16 to 1 on the high road. It's so stupid, but whenever a horse breaks and they're forced to like keep the feed on until that horse crosses the line, I just find that moment funny. It's just like, when's he gonna come? When's he gonna come? There he is! Yay!
Well, if you own the horse, you probably want to see him finish.
I agree with that, but like it's the same thing with like a middle school track meet where it's just you have equal excitement for everyone finishing the race. That is, if you're a supportive parent. What are you implying, Ray? I'm implying that we got to talk about this Woodbine pick 4. Woodbine pick 4.
If anyone's watching Woodbine tonight, the 4 is 29 to 1 here in race 9. Has a shot.
The Woodbine Pick 4 is a time-honored tradition, mostly because it's held every race card, and the yearly Pick 4 is no exception. It's a $50,000 guaranteed pool, usually surpasses that. Woodbine's pools, as of late, also have been performing very well. They've been getting a lot of money churning into these wagers. The Pick 5 was close to 100,000 the other night, if I was not mistaken.
They've been averaging about 80, 85, and up. The Pick 4s have been averaging 70s.
That's
good.
That's an unimaginable amount. Actually, as a college student, that's an unimaginable amount of money because that's how much I
consider. You know, like the Meadows, their Pick 5 maybe handles 1,000. You know. just for the sake of it, on a normal night, Meadowlands pick 5 maybe handles 30 without the carryover.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, their pick 5 at Woodbine weight is getting a lot. When the pick 4s have good pulls too, so it's the best product there is.
It's always strange to think, where is that money coming from? And there are just some questions, folks, that are not meant to be answered. So let's get rolling into this pick 4, as there are currently multiple judges' inquiries into that 9th race at Western Fair. They have more than one judge on the case, so don't worry. They will have the best verdict you could imagine. That's all I have to that bit. So starting off this pick 4, $50,000 guaranteed pool starts with the 4th race, the early pick 4 tomorrow night at Woodbine. It's a non-winners of 5 or $87,000 lifetime. And now, I'm the only one that seems to think this way, but I think the sequence gets easier with each race. So I'm fairly deep to start out. Mike, you're not necessarily super deep in this opening race, but out of 8 horses, you're still taking 3 of them.
Yeah, and I think that the race is between the 1 and the 2, but I'm going to use the 7 also as a little bit of a price play. But the 1 and 2 are obvious. The 1's external, 3rd time back. He won first time back, now wears a 5. Raced against Big Yellow last time and really was against the track. Got beat a nose first up. Probably shouldn't have lost that race, but just kind of got nipped there. He's very obvious, very sharp. He's fast. Those miles are quick. Hard not to use. The 2, is it Friday yet? This horse has won 3 in a row, two of which were in like 3 days of each other. Very convincing. Now steps up into this race, but for Moreau, wow, very capable, must use. They have to catch that one. And then the 7, Freddie Bear, who will probably be around 15, 20 to 1 in here, and is a closer. Has closed well against external last 2 races. If they go crazy up front with the 1 and the 2, the 7 could pick up all the pieces. So I'm 1, 2, 7.
Now, Rod, you're more inside-centric here, taking the 3 on the rail.
Yeah, I'm going 1, 2, 3 here. The 1 external raced well last time, just missed. That was a big back calf and 55 flat. No reason to think this one with the rail isn't going to be close once again. And Jody jumps back on, and he's been just red hot on Saturday nights. So I'll use that one. The 2, I think, looks pretty obvious. Second start off the claim, raced well the first time, and that was off short rest. So I do think this horse is in peak form right now and should be tough again. Then the 3, I throw this one on second start off the layoff. First start, kind of just went around there, raced really well. Came last half in 55 and change in a needed start, obviously. This one's going to be a lot tighter coming into this race and is a nice price play to add on to your early pick 4 or your pick 5s. So 1, 2, 3.
I definitely agree with the 3. He's one of the prices I use here for mostly the same reasons. That first start off the layoff and off the ship also from Yonkers is not bad at all. Coming in with 27 and change to gain ground in the stretch. Finish 5th, draws inside again. Whether or not he's going to be a bit more mobile in this race is a question, but he's still going to be a price that's kind of worth using. I was the only one that wasn't necessarily on the board too. Is it Friday yet? I understand the reasoning behind why using him, considering the fact that this horse was bet to be the odds-on favorite 3 days after being claimed and moving up in class for Moreau, and he wins going 52 and 4. I get that much. Moving up in class, though, to me, I feel like he's going to be too short of a price worth using, considering, too, that some of these other horses are going to be better prices and have somewhat similar ability to perform well, if that makes sense. So I end up not using Is It Friday yet, which, I mean, let's be honest, two's probably going to win then in that case.
Did you see those 2 races?
Those, no, I did not.
Yeah, if you would have saw them, you would be using. I can guarantee it.
Well, I mean, if I had handicapped those races, I'd probably better understand why he won by 4 lengths. Also, the point I'm making,
dominant both times.
Still moving up in class.
That's good. That's a good thing.
It could, yeah. And again, I'm just saying it's a total price thing for me. But if you want to throw him on, I mean, my ticket's cheap enough where it doesn't really matter. But that said, I still use 4 horses here. External's one of them. We already touched on him. Rock This Way is one. We already touched on him. Freddie Bear's the third one. Mike touched on him a bit. This horse is a really nice late kick. Last one here at Woodbine back on January 25th when he had more of an inside draw. But since then has been kind of lagging behind the field farther than he maybe should be, but nonetheless, he's still coming home in 27 and change to hit the board, finishing second and third. It's a total guessing game with this one as to whether or not he's going to be close enough to kick home well. And at the same time, too, he also probably benefit from sitting off of a faster pace. And in terms of speed in this race, there's not necessarily a pace that signals me thinking he's going to have a fast clip to close into. So he's still going to be a factor, and he could get there theoretically, but the numbers necessarily don't add up fully. The 8 in Spades then is the 4th horse I use. Jumped up to the non-winners of 5 level last time, and was bet to be the favorite after winning by a neck, parking the mile against non-winners of 3, and was third to External and Freddie Bear in that race, going first over and hanging in the stretch to finish third. But this horse, it's strange when a horse is bet to be that heavy a favorite moving up in class, albeit he had a really nice win coming into that race. And now he draws outside. He's probably going to get more of a stalking trip because of that, and that's probably going to be better for him than going first over like he did last out into a pace that ultimately quickened in the end because it was slow at the start. So the race could possibly set up in his favor. He could come closing late, and he has the form to definitely perform well here. And he might be a bit of an overlay, too, because the inside two are going to take a lot of play. So I'm 1, 3, 7, 8 in that opening leg of this pick 4. Second leg is race number 5. Numbers of 9,000 their last 5 starts and some other conditions that I don't feel like reading. 10 horses going posted here. Mike, this is where you kind of dip your toes a bit deeper into the water because you're taking half of them.
Yeah, like half. A very tough race. Could go a lot of different ways. So I'm going to use a few. The horse I like the best is the 4 Piston Broke, who flew home in 25 and 4 last time. You just don't see that. Lost to Mohawk Warrior, had a stone cold perfect trip. When this horse gets good, he tends to put a few races together, and I really liked that race last time. He's extremely tough to ignore. The 5, Boom Boom Valley Kill, gets the big track back. That race at London was probably the best preferred 2 they've raced all year there. And, Avocardus kind of got away on the field there, but this horse raced well. I thought it was a little bit of a wake-up. Now comes back to the big track, tons of class. I mean, he's made $850,000. You can't leave him off. Shadow Margot, the 7. If you look at that horse, this horse last time was driven ridiculous. This horse is a closer, had the 7 hole, went out in a 25 and 4, 54 and 3 half, never saw the pylons, just completely tossed that race out. Has to be driven better here. If he can be set up for a rally, then he has a good chance in the race. I'm going to use the inside too. Aspan over the 1. This horse was on the front last time in that ridiculous pace and held on decent to be third. I'm Sporty came from way back to pick everybody off. So I'm going to use that one just from the post, and he can win at this level. And then the 2, Andreas Cordia, one of my favorite horses. Gets McNair now, laid off, but this horse is a preferred type whenever it's right. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 7.
Rod, you have a bit more of a refined outlook on this race. That's a strange Freudian slip. You take 3 instead of 5.
Yeah, I'm using 3 of the same horses Mike's using. The 1, ASAP Hanover, I think is pretty obvious, especially from the rail. Made a quarter move last time, just got nipped at the wire, raced really well. Driver change from Louis Philippe Watt to Sylvain Filion tomorrow night. So even with the driver change, I think this horse is going to be sitting close. He's in good form, and I expect a good effort once again from him. The 2 has missed time, which is a bit of a concern, but like Mike said, when this horse is right, he's going to be tough to beat against this type of field. The question is he ready and is he right? I think with the time off, that's going to be a key for this horse, just keeping him fresh for bigger miles later in the year. So I think he's going to get a nice trip inside, and if it opens up, he's going to be coming late. Then the 4, Piston Broke. He hasn't won this year, but this horse is close. Come a big last quarter last time, 25-4. I mean, you can't ignore him off that last mile. He's going to take a lot of money, I think. That 7-2 morning line is not the price you're going to get on him. He's going to probably be the favorite here, just off that last line. But he's been sharp for several weeks now, other than throwing in one just average start there. But, 3 of his last 4 starts have been really, really good. And I do think this horse is able to beat these if he's in the right spot. So 1, 2, 4.
Of note, back to... Oh, Dad, is that what I sound like? Oh... looking at the Western Fair pick 4s, the will pays. The lowest will pay is on the 1. Coffee's Ready at 86.36. A couple of hundreds, 200s thrown in there. The highest on the 5, a Funny Feeling for $2,700. That race is coming up in about 3 minutes. Back here to Woodbine, the second leg for me. I'm 4 deep here, starting with ASAP Hanover. Purely because this horse races very well at this level, and he's consistent at this level, and draws the rail again, which 3 starts ago against numbers of 6,000. He performed decently to finish second riding the rail, coming in 27 and change. That said, he's, again, if he races consistently well here, for him, it's probably just going to be a matter of trip. And last out, too, he kind of forced himself into a fast pace, ended up finishing 3rd by a head, and this horse's prerogative is probably much more to be stalking than to be setting the pace, so that could possibly happen from the inside. Piston Broke, you say it's hard to ignore him, and I always say it's not if you just forget he's in the race. That said, I look at that last line, and I dumbfounded at how he came on with 25 and change. I'm curious how...
It was wind-aided.
It was windy that night?
Yes.
Okay, that helps explain it a bit, especially considering the fact this horse was coming off of 28 and change quarters in starts before that. Not necessarily that matters, but still, if there was a stretch backwind, that kind of helps us understand why this horse flew home so well. But he also flies home well usually, and that was his first start dropping in class also. That said, I'm kind of worried that he's going to be overbet off of that line and he'll underperform as a result. But still, second start at this class level, if he is able to replicate even a semblance of that effort, he could do well at this group. Cool Rock's the 3rd horse I use, mainly because he dropped down in class and he won, albeit that was a very poor grouping of non-winners of 5,000, but this was also a horse where if he didn't win that race, then he wouldn't belong at any higher of a class level. And now he jumps up to the non-winners of 9,000 group, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's next up on the class ladder. And he's coming in off a decent mile, and that is not something to look over, especially considering, too, that he's going to go from being the even money favorite to perhaps being 9 or 10 to 1 in this race. And he also has 2 miles against numbers of 14,000 that aren't standouts necessarily, but aren't necessarily ones to totally dismiss either. You could pitch them for excuses, but there's still some tricklings of form kind of hidden within those lines where he finished 9th and 7th respectively. So he could be a decent price here, given he's coming in off a win. Finally, the 7, Shadow Margot, is the 3rd horse I use, or the 4th horse I use, coming in off a parked mile where he finished 7th. Before that was in against Tougher and finished 10th. But then, 3 starts back at this level, rode the pocket and won. This is a horse that likes to be forwardly placed, and there is a fair amount of speed in this race. So I give that a bit of caution in using this horse, because he could end up becoming a victim of his own preferred racing style, or at the same time he could end up being positioned in the right spot to benefit off his preferred racing style. A lot could happen in this race that for us to try and predict would A, be useless and futile, and B, also drive us insane. So that said, in theory, Shadow Margaux could work out a trip that plays in his favor and will be a decent price doing it. So I'm 1, 4, 6, 7 in the second leg of this pick four. Third leg, as I peek back over to London to see they're parading right now. We have time for this third leg. Now we're at 15,000. Their last 5 stars. First at 22 grand on the line. And in here we got 8 horses lining up, and kind of a tricky one too, because the one Velocity Driven drops out of the preferred. And Mike, for you, you're still 3 deep, but do you necessarily pay a lot of credence to the fact that the one is a huge class advantage here?
Yeah, I think they have to, because those are the best horses on the grounds, and he, raced very well at the kind of in between condition level, and I was at 20 and 21,000. Those are nice races back in January, and then really just had no chance against horses like American Virgin and the Rev. Those are very sharp ones, and this horse wasn't getting his setup. He needs a setup to usually get there, but he's capable. I'm going to use him. The 4 Classic Dragon is obvious. 1, 3 out of 4, and then kind of faltered off a perfect trip on the 17th. I didn't really like that race, but I thought bounced back pretty nice last time when he lost to Tracer Hanover, who was the favorite in there. They weren't beating that horse that night off the drop, so from this post, he should get a stalking trip and be right there. And then I like the 6 a little 4-card major who I've been chasing. This horse was claimed for 25, and then they put in the optional 30s. Been facing horses like Nickelbag, Resistance Futile, Tracer Hanover last time. Was 40-1 last time, but third. This horse is very capable. I like Osceola. I like this. I think this horse can be a little closer than he has been. So in this field, he fits 1, 4, 6.
Rod, you're a little bit deeper, and you mostly agree with Mike. Why do I drop my pen?
Yeah.
You just add the 5. Why the 5?
I had the 5 in her. I think she's kind of a hit or miss type. She doesn't win very often, but she's very fast. And when she's on her game, there's nothing in here that can beat her or him. It's just one of those horses that sometimes when he's not in form, he just bad. And it's like it's hard to explain a horse like that, because sometimes it's a week to week thing with those types, and I think this is one of those types. I just hate to get beat by a horse like that. Louis Philippe Waugh jumps back on for Moreau. Horse draws well. This is a good spot to follow cover, and it's going to be following probably the favorite here. So all those factors, I think this horse has a shot as long as things work out early on in the race for him, and that's why I'm using him. But alongside that, the 1, 4, and the 6, they're all uses. I really don't have much to add after what Mike said. The 6 is another price play.
And it's good that you don't have much more to add, because we have 50 seconds to post at London, which means I have 30 seconds to talk about this race. All right, Ray? You're born for it. Go. Okay, 2 deep in this race for me. I'm ignoring Velocity Driven, because sure, this horse has class, but at the same time is going to be bent as a result. And not only that, his races in the preferreds are lackluster, as well as also considering the fact that the 2 horses I use seem to be in much better form than Velocity Driven has been in his last few starts. The first of them being Classy Dragon, this horse we all touched on. If this horse is forwardly placed like he was last time, where he finished second at Tracer Hanover, who had much more class than him, that this horse could perform very well. And considering, too, this horse came home in 27 flat, and he's just been at the top of his game in his last 3 starts, winning 3 starts ago, finishing third 2 starts back, and second last out. If anything, this horse should be the favorite here, because he's probably the one to beat. And the other horse I throw on that none of you talked about at all, the 8 Mohawk Warrior, who dropped down to the numbers of 10,000 level, won, sitting a pocket trip as the favorite, now moves back up in class with an hours of $15,000 group. In this class, he races fairly decently too. 2 starts back, launched off the gate to be forwardly placed, finished 4th. Before that, kind of lagged off the starting gate, which that was the only race where he did that. So I'm thinking he's going to be a bit forwardly placed, and being forwardly placed in this race could not hurt him at all. So I'm 4-8 in the 3rd leg of that pick 4. Woo! Okay, now the final race at London is going postward. Even money on Coffee's Ready. 5-2 on New Boss in Town. 5-1 on Pay the Line Blue Chip. None of us are alive, but if you are in this pick 4, good luck. You made it this far. Now 3-5 on Coffee's Ready. New Boss in Town still 5-2. 6-1 Pay the Line Blue Chip. 9 of them lining up. This is the nightcap. The 10th from Western Fair in motion. Approaching the start off, and pacing Large in Legacy launches from the outside. New Boss in Town out 2. Pay the Line Blue Chip gets away 3rd, and Coffee's Ready 4th around the first turn. PL Kaleidoscope backs into 5th. 6th then comes Lions Woodlands in front of Daenerys, then towards the back of the pack. A Funny Feeling and Bright Side Luella down the back stretch out of the pocket. In pursuit of the lead, Pay the Line Blue Chip overtaking New Boss in Town. 3rd then comes Large in Legacy in front of Coffee's Ready 4th. PL Kaleidoscope 5th around the turn. Lions Woodland still 6th. Daenerys 7th. A Funny Feeling then in front of Brightside Luella. No movement other than the overtaking of New Boss in Town coming into the stretch first time, but out of 4th. The favorite, Coffee's Ready, now edges off the rail and journeys overland with PL Kaleidoscope on his back. Gapping then, Lions Woodlands behind this top quintet, overtaking her. Daenerys around the turn, still a long ways back to A Funny Feeling and Brightside Luella past the half onto the backstretch. We have a breaker on the lead, causing a bit of a disruption. There went Pay the Line Blue Chip, so Coffee's Ready now takes control. New Boss in Town to the inside, parking him out though. Then on cover, PL Kaleidoscope 3rd. Large in Legacy is behind them 4th. Then to the inside comes Lions Woodlands. Outside and progressing is Daenerys is up the inside 2. Comes A Funny Feeling around that final turn. New Boss in Town emerges on the lead. Outside, Coffee's Ready. Inside, Large in Legacy. Then looking for room, A Funny Feeling as they turn for home. It's New Boss in Town holding control. Large in Legacy up the inside. Outside, Coffee's Ready. Off the rail, A Funny Feeling. Then moving up late as they come onto the line. It's still New Boss in Town. A Funny Feeling rallying down the center, but he's too late. New Boss in Town holds off the 54-1 shot in the nightcap.
That was an odd race.
How did the longest shot on the board almost, well, the second longest shot on the board almost win that?
Well, the whole race got messed up.
Kind of chaos.
Yeah. I really liked the 4 in that race, though, but it's kind of retrospective at that point. 4, 5, 1, 6, 8, looks like, is the high 5. That's going to be a decent high 5.
It's going to be a good high 5.
I think it might carry.
It could carry over.
Where's decent and good? Like, decent I guess, would be below good? But wait, but decent... I need to consult.
We got to move on.
Okay.
We got work to do. Come on.
Oh, fine. Don't push me. I'm not a button. So we talked about the 3rd leg of the pick 4 at Woodbine. Now we're on to the last leg of the pick 4 at Woodbine. Race number 7, hours of 10,000. Maybe we'd be moving faster if you guys had less to say, but you want to give an in-depth analysis, and I'm okay with that. So we got 9. Why am I using your skills against you? Because I'm a tool. 10 horses lining up here in this numbers of $10,000 trot. Mike, you're capping your pick 4 ticket, taking half of them.
Yeah, it's a very tough race. You can take them all, really. I'm going to use half. The 2, Pepe de... I don't know what it is. What is that, Ray? Desuelo? I don't speak Spanish.
Pepe de Hisolo.
Whatever. won 2 in a row, steps up, loses Wah, but gets Randy Waples, draws well. You know, I'm going to use just on post alone and the sharpness. The 3, Optima Kemp. This horse stepped up to numbers of 10,000. Was not disgraced last time for Moreau and Wah. I like the draw here. This horse fits at this level. I think this horse is a use. The 4, Meadow Branch Memo. This horse, two races in a row at this level, finished 3rd and 5th, but closed well both times. And, you know, if this horse can get a trip, you know, has some back class. The 5, Majestic Presence, won last time at numbers of 6,000 and a 54 and 2 mile. So, you know, all these horses look almost the same. It's just a matter of what the trip's going to be. And then I'm going to use the 8, Adversity. Get to McNair, is a closer. I like the driver change. Last time he was sitting on the horse at 1, so, you know, has a lot of class also. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8.
Now I see a 3, I see a 4, I see an 8. Rod, you have those numbers too!
I do. But
Wow.
I had the 1. The 1 Major Muscle. I'm using this horse. Draws the rail again. Has been drawn well every single week. This looks like a spot where maybe this horse gets that trip once again, but gets away closer in the 2-hole maybe. Not a lot of big early speed. There's some floaters in here, horses that leave and look for trips. I think he gets away closer, and he's going to be able to get a 2-hole trip, in my opinion, which makes him a major player. And you know, he hasn't always been great at this level, but I do think this is kind of a softer bunch for this class, so I'm going to throw him on. The 3, Optima Kemp. Mike touched on Moreau and Wah. Not a lot to say about this one. Race has been racing well. I think is a must-use. The 4, Meadow Branch Memo, I'm using. Race well, got shuffled last time. Decent price play here. Doesn't win very often, but I think is a good price play to have on your ticket. And then the 8, Adversity, gets McNair. Not a lot to say about this one. Doesn't look like he can go with these, but this horse is quick enough, and if the setup is right, this horse could be right there at the wire and make it interesting, especially with Doug McNair driving. Last time he drove this horse, he won. So I'm going to throw him on. 1, 3, 4, 8.
Judge's inquiry into last at London. Horse at the inside went up the rail. Might get taken down. We will see. I'm too deep in this last leg. Woodbine. The results are now official. I'll bring you prices in a second. I'm too deep. I see nothing else but the 2 and the 4. Also, it's probably Pepe di Gisolo because it's Italian. I'm pretty sure you pronounce the J's in Italian phonetics. That's just me, though. I don't know. Fun fact, also, do any of you know what this horse's sire is referencing? Ganymede. Do any of you know?
No.
Mike, you know? Ganymede is the male persona of Rosalind in the Shakespearean play As You Like It.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome. The more you know. Because someday you're going to be in a bundle and then you're going to need to think of a fake name. And you got Ganymede. It's a fun name. It makes no sense. I think it means guy in Italian, coincidentally. But Pepe di Gisolo, what does that mean? I gotta look that up after the show. I was coming off of 2 wins, moves up the class ladder. Now this is kind of ironic considering the fact that I avoided the 2 in the first leg, who is coming in off of similar circumstances, but I like this horse because he's probably going to be a better price than that horse in the first leg. And this horse was also bet to be the favorite last out, moving into the numbers of $6,000 level. Hey, what's wrong with Shakespeare, Mike? I see the group chat. What's wrong with Shakespeare? Hey, just Shakespeare loved women. Pepe di Gisolo's coming off 2 wins. Could be is improving. Metal Branch Memo's the second horse I use. He raced really well last time, riding the rail to finish 5th. He came up in 27 and change. He won against hours of 6,000, 3 starts back from off the pace. This horse just is in decent form, and he looks like he belongs at this level. 2-4. I dislike everyone else in this race. I don't see much form in any of them. So here's my ticket at Woodbine for 20 cents. 1-3-7-8 with 1-4-6-7 with 4-8 with 2-4. $12.80 for 20 cents. Shakespeare liked women. Mike, your ticket.
1-2-7 with 1-2, 4-5-7 with 1-4-6 with 2-3-4-5-8. It's 45.
And Rod, your ticket.
1-2-3 with 1-2-4 with 1-4-5-6 with 1-3-4-8. It's $28.80 for 20 cents.
Pick 4 at London for 20 cents. Returned $145.96. The high 5, 4-5-1-6-9. 9,035.65. Now here's a fun note. I played a 20-cent high 5 in that race. I had the 4 on top of 4 other horses keyed. The 1, 2, 6, and 9. I almost had it.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
What do you mean everyone? No one
Good
like
try. Good try.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying. I'm making conversation.
It was close.
I've got 34 high 5s the last 3 weeks. Come on. I mean, you're trying to get one.
You were close, though. I give you credit. You were close.
I'll never be as good.
That was a good bet. You tried.
I'll never be as good as Rod.
No.
Doubtful.
I'll never be as good as the Rolling Stones. Wait, why do I want to be as good as the Rolling Stones? Why do I care? Meadowlands pick 4. Let's go into that. All right, so their pick 4 starts with race number 8 tomorrow evening, and also keep in mind after the show we will be investigating into the pick 5 carryover for tomorrow night at the Meadowlands. $125,000 guaranteed pool, if I'm not mistaken. That's races 3 through 7. Pick 5 starts with race number 8. Race number 8, numbers of 11,500 in the last 5 starts. Pace purse at $13,000 on the line. We got 10 horses going postward here. Mike, for you like 3 of them.
Yeah, 3 of them to start. This is a tough race. The number was 11.5, but you could argue that it's probably more like a numbers of 85 type race. Some returnees here that I like. The 7, Lawrencetown Beach, likely favorite. This horse has wicked speed away from there. It's just a matter of can he hold it together. Qualifier was good. Came home in 27. Got beat a neck by Dr. J. Hanover, who you'll see later in the card.
Earlier.
Actually, earlier. The horse, I think, is in race
7.
Oh, you'll get something from that, too. You know, if that horse is live, this horse, might tell you something. I'm also going to use the 5 Durand, who was claimed for 20,000, 2 back, stepped up. Basically faced the same types. Just got beat. Came home 27-3. I thought improved a little bit. He belongs in here, especially if some of these returnees don't necessarily fire. I'm in the 9, Mr. Euroman. This horse came from the, I think it's a New Zealand horse. Started numbers of 85. Finished 2nd, then won. Stepped up to numbers of 15 and really had a total stinker, a non-effort. They laid the horse up. Qualified okay in that same qualifier. So this horse is the same as it was back whenever it first came. It's a definite use. 5, 7, 9.
You would be correct in assuming the horse is from New Zealand, mostly by the nomenclature of the end.
I know. Thank you. Thanks for that.
At the end of the day. I'm good for pronouncing foreign names and foreign things.
And an N. You're good at the end.
I'll have to think about that one while Rod's talking about this race. Figure out what that means. Rod, what do you see in this first leg? The pick 4.
I'm 4 deep here. Start with the 3. Blaze Hanover. 10-hole last week. Got away way back. Had no chance to win the race, but still raced very well from that spot, especially on the off track. I thought that was a really good race. And the start prior was good. And that was over at Yonkers. Horse raced really well from the back. just been drawing bad. Draws inside. Should brace up close and not get used too hard here. I think this is a good way to start the picker with a big price. So I'm going to use that one. The 5, Durant, throwing him on. Raced well off cover last week. Should have a similar trip again tomorrow. The 7, Lawrencetown Beach. Not a lot to say about this one. We know he's a stakes caliber horse when he's right. The question is he ready? And then the 9, Mr. Euroman, for obvious reasons. He comes out of that same qualifier. Was good in the qualifier. He does draw the outside, but I'm still going to use him because if you're using the 7, I think you got to use the 9 as well. So 3, 5, 7, 9.
Shakespeare liked women. I'm 3 deep in this. Like, gay. But no, because like if it's man and woman like that's it. No. So I'm 3 deep in this league. Starting with the 2, Bad Gamer. I'm surprised no one touched on this one. I'm not sure if you guys are just kind of totally dissuaded by Dover horses, but this is a decent horse for a Dover shipper. Came in off of 2 weeks rest, last out. Ended up just kind of chasing horses to finish 7th. Went first over against winners of 10,000, which is without.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Where are you at?
Oh, I'm on the 2nd leg. We're still on the 1st leg. Wow. Boy, I'm 4 deep in the 1st leg. Sometimes I like to be ahead of myself because I'm ahead of everyone else at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like a clock that is purposely an hour ahead. Which daylight malfunction. We're back. 4 deep in this 1st leg. Starting with the 3, Blaze Hanover, or Blaze Hanover. This horse had something good to eat. 4 starts ago. Launched from post 10 to take the lead. Ended up faltering to finish 10th, but that race sticks out on this horse's form like a sore thumb. Also, sore thumbs don't really stick out that well, but I'm going with the idiom. And last out from the 10 hole, chose to sit from off the pace and chase horses home. Ended up finishing 4th against hours of 8,500. Moves back up in class. Was also racing decently over at Yonkers from outside post against way better. The 50,000 claimers are probably way better than this group here. That said, though, the horse just draws better. Could be in a better situation as a result. The 5, Durant's the 2nd horse I use. This horse's lines just speak for themselves. This horse flies home every start. Just has to do that again. 7, Lawrencetown Beach is the 3rd horse I use. Comes in off a layoff. Was racing well prior to the layoff. However, is coming in off a decent qualifier behind Dr. J. Hanover. And for that reason, I do use. And I also use Mr. Euroman for a similar reason. And Mr. Euroman also had a better final quarter than Lawrencetown Beach in that qualifier. And he had some decent miles here at the Meadowlands before going on a short layoff at the end of February. Likely unnecessary layoff at that, since this horse crawled home in 157. Probably some equipment adjustments or something to make. This horse could be back in form, though, first time back. 3, 5, 7, 9. Now we're on the 2nd leg. Hours of $8,500 pace in the last 5 starts. We have 10 horses going postward here. Mike, starting with you. 4 deep.
4 deep, the 1, Alta Leroy. I thought was okay last time from the outside post. 2 back, raced well to be 2nd. Lost the Major War, who had a perfect trip. I'm looking for another race for the price. I think this horse will be one. The 3, this is another New Zealand horse. Comes off the layoff. Raced in January. Shipped here. 1 qualifier. Raced against Great Vintage, Dancing Yankee. Those are top ones. Raced okay. 27 final quarter. If ready, I'd say this horse, probably can beat this bunch. The 7, Rockin' the House. Beat Durant last time. Prior to that, broke and then still almost won against Big Top Hanover. This horse keeps coming up the class ladder. And I'm going to use that one, too. I don't think that this horse will be 10-1. And then the 10, Cowboy Terrier. This is Burke. Gets Jingra back. And, 2 back, blasted numbers of 5,000. Stepped up and raced okay numbers of 8,500. I like the driver switch. Coming out of fast races. 1, 3, 7, 10.
Run!
I'm 3 deep here. I'll start with the 3. Race well in that qualifier. He could need one, but he was really good in that qualifier. So I think he's probably pretty close to ready. So I'm going to use him. Again, he was in a pretty stout qualifier. So the key is he ready right now? The 9, I'm going to use this one, Sam's Triple Crown. Horse raced well on the lead last time. Just got a little bit tired. Got beat at the wire by a horse that got a perfect trip behind him. Start prior come from way back. Start prior to that came from way back and won. So he's in very good form right now. I think he likes to follow cover, and Jimmy Pantaleano is jumping on for tomorrow night. So I'm going to use him at a price. The 10, I think, is pretty obvious. Burke and Jingra. This horse has been racing well the last 3 starts, so even with the outside post, if form continues into tomorrow night, I think he's going to be tough. So 3, 9, 10.
All right, I agree with the 9 and the 10. I just add on the 2. Big game. Now I get to talk about this horse. Bad gamer. Big game. Bad gamer. Drops down from Dover down to 10,000. That was after 2 weeks rest, tossing that race completely. 2 starts back against Better, parked first over. And then before that, chased horses in 27 and change and won against numbers of 10,000 back on January 25th off a pocket trip. Point being here, this horse has the ability to perform well. He just hasn't really had the circumstances necessary for him to perform at his best. Could possibly get those circumstances this time around with an inside draw and also a slight drop in class and moving to the bigger track. I am then 2, 9, 10, nothing else to add on to what Rod said. Third leg of this sequence is race number 10. Numbers of 5,000 the last 5 starts. 10 more lining up here. Mike, for you, 4 deep again.
Another tough race. I like the 5 best all week. This horse was stone cold block last time till late and then flew to nearly win. This horse, if it gets any kind of trip, actually the last 2 races has been roughed up, can get there. The 6, work and play hard, was parked every step and still won as the favorite, now steps up. The 3, Dune Dude, this horse drops out of numbers of 85, typically a closer, really kind of needs a setup, but whenever he wins, usually pays a decent price. So I think could get a setup in 2 with a lot of the speed. And then the 8, Rock and Roll Wildcats. This is Burke dropping, has speed, has shown the ability to win at this level in the past. So I think with Jingra should be able to get to the front and maybe keep on going. 3, 5, 6, 8.
3, 5, 6, 8. Rod, you just don't like the 6.
Basically, I don't mind the 6, but I'm not using. I'm going 3, 5, 8 here. The 3 just had no chance last time. Raced well though. Tossed the one before that. This horse definitely has a shot. Draws inside. Probably going to take a little bit of play. The 5 I think is obvious. Nothing really to add to what Mike said there. And then the 8, I think, is obvious. He does have a braking issue, but he looked pretty good last week, and Yannick jumps back on. So the key with him is just stay flat. If he stays flat, he's going to be really tough in this field. 3, 5, 8.
All right, I agree with the 3, Dune Dude. I feel like he's the one to beat here. I only go 2 deep, though, in this race. The only other one I throw on is the 6, Work and Play Hard. Moves up the class ladder, seems to have been improving in his last 3 starts, and is on an upward trajectory that could pay off decently if he does not go off remotely close to favoritism. 3, 6 for me in that leg. Final leg, race number 11. Now winners of 8,500 last 5 starts. 10 more going postward here. Mike, 3 deep for you.
3 deep, but they're all coming out of the same race. I'm going to use the 3, 4, and 6. The 4, Siskel won that race last time at 20 to 1 off the layoff. If this horse improves, can certainly win right back. The 6, Big Top Hanover, was on the front the entire way and got picked off late. I thought raced well and has been racing well in the lead. And then the 3, Spirit of Truth, comes out of the same race, had the 10 hole, came home 27 and 1. I feel like one of these three are going to win this race, and the horses like the 5 and the 10 are going to take big money, and I'm just really not interested. So 3, 4, 6.
Rod, for you.
I'm only using one of those, actually. I'll start with the 2 with Magic Kobe. Draws inside. He's been drawing mid to outside recently, and last time he left, got a little bit of a shuffle and then pulled first over and just faded late. This is a group that I think is kind of just chasing horses right now, and they're kind of in that middle ground, and he's one of them. He was facing decent horses over at Yonkers. I think if he improves just a little bit from his last start, he's going to be right there. The 4, Siskel, I'm going to use him second start off the layoff. This one definitely has a big chance to win this race. He should improve off of his last effort, and he won that race. And then the 5, Beyond Delight, I'm going to use this one. It's Pelling, second start off a long layoff. This one had the 9-hole last time, draws mid-pack this week, and he should have some live cover to follow in here if he doesn't decide to leave. So 2, 4, and 5 for me.
Finish him.
Boldness. What's it good for? More at 11. I'm 3 deep in this last leg of pick 4. Starting with Mr. Truth, the whole truth and nothing but the Mr. Truth. Now, you think that's too many characters for a horse name, and you're correct. I'm totally not saying the horse's name correctly. But Mr. Truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, has been racing decently at the Nars of 5,000 level, jumped back into the 8,500 where 4 starts ago against Nars of 8,500. He parked first over and raced decently, finishing 9th. Still came home in 27 flat to do so. Horse is in decent form, draws the rail, could get a perfect setup, and be in good shot. 3, Spirit of Truth, the second one I used. This horse really popped, shipping in from Freehold, even though he had an outside post, rode cover, and flew home to finish 3rd in 27 and change. Now it's a 54-1. Second start out, moves up in class, draws better, could improve under those circumstances. And the 5, Beyond Delight, I also used purely for A, post improvement, and B, second start off the layoff. Seems like the horse just got a mile under his belt last time. Still came home in 27 flat to finish 7th. Should definitely improve, especially moving into this lesser bunch. 1, 3, 5 for me in this race, which makes my ticket go as follows. 3, 5, 7, 9 with 2, 9, 10 with 3, 6, 1, 3, 5. $36.50. Mikey, your ticket.
5, 7, 9 with 1, 3, 7, 10 with 3, 5, 6, 8 with 3, 4, 6. It's 72.
And Rod.
3, 5, 7, 9 with 3, 9, 10 with 3, 5, 8 with 2, 4, 5. It's $54.
With that said, it's now 11 o'clock. So coming up after North American Horse Update, our expose into baldness and how it might actually be overrated and not as cool as you think. But stick around for that. It's not actually coming up.
Lisa.
Rod, don't ever do that again, or I will find you. And I will make sure that you have no access to the internet, and that I delete all of your Facebook accounts and your MySpace accounts. I'm going to delete your RuneScape account. I'm going to hack your Minecraft, and I'm going to destroy your house in Minecraft. And so don't do that ever again. That said, I've been Ray Gonzalo. I'm not threatening in any way. See you next week when there's more racing to talk about that is not right